Action!
Action?
Action.
Where? Oh, there! Welcome back, everybody, to motherfucking movie reviews with Dave. Oh, Daniel, I should say. Lachlan.
Dom's
And
movie
who's this
reviews.
motherfucker over here? This bald
I'm
Beautiful.
Rasputin.
Rasputin. There's this movie we saw just now called The Thing.
Hey, look at my feet. Do you like my feet?
Oh, everyone's gonna fucking put you up on OnlyFans with those toes, baby.
I'm gonna be in the next Quentin Tarantino film.
Okay, yeah,
The
so
Thing.
the thing.
The Thing is the 1982 version, John Carpenter movie, The Thing.
Which is a remake of The Thing from Outer Space.
Which is also a good movie you should check out, by the way.
Hey.
Very fast paced, but albeit a good movie.
I've
which-
never seen The Thing from Outer Space. I do need to watch that.
Me
It's a
neither.
great movie. It's very fast paced, I'll say that.
How long is it?
It's like 70 or 80 minutes, but it's
Yeah.
so fast paced. Like it's kind of hard to follow the dialogue at first,
Yeah.
but when you understand it, you understand it. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, so before we jump into the review, what's your first experience with The Thing? When did you first see it? What age and when?
10 years old when we're at the fucking cinema. It wasn't like Limelight or Hoyts or whatever the fuck.
What did they do, like a re-release of it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
I saw that with mum and dad, and I love my mum and dad for that. I love them I love them in general, but like, you know, I thank mum and dad for allowing me to see The Thing when I was at that age at the cinemas. And to be completely honest with you guys, fucking faultless. Like, I've never seen a horror movie where everything just falls together so perfectly. Yeah, it's also an enigma. Sorry, that's such a tongue twister for me.
An enigma.
Yeah, enigma.
And James, and when was your first time watching it?
I actually watched it at a much later time than Lachlan has. I actually watched it with him and another friend of ours who has the same name as I do. This was back just nearly 5 years ago at his place. And honestly, even though at the time I wasn't really a big fan of horror films as much as I am now, I thought it was ultimately mind-blowing because of all the special effects and even the storyline and just the direction of the film and the writing and just, yeah, I'd say it's just about as flawless and
Yeah.
yeah.
Same. He did that better than me. I'll just say all the above. 10 out of 10. If you don't have time to watch this video, 10 out of 10. Watch it.
Yeah, so my first time watching it was, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but was this year actually I watched The Thing for the first time. I watched it at, I think it was in October, they did like a re-release for The Thing in theaters, and I've never seen The Thing before. I've heard so much hype about it on Twitter and social media and just movie reviews on YouTube. Everybody was hyping up the movie, and I'm a big fan of John Carpenter. Like Halloween, of course, is one of the greatest movies, one of the greatest slashers in that case of all time. And so yeah, like I went into the movie, like knowing what the hype was and knowing what the eventual twist of the movie was going to be, and I came out of the movie enjoying it quite a bit. I would not say it's a great movie, but I think for its time, for the special effects, especially the, what is it, like the teeth heart scene.
Who I should credit as well.
What's that scene in?
He
called?
the person who did all the special effects was Rob Bottin, I think.
Yep.
If I can recall correctly, I'll
Look it up. Look it up.
The person who did it was like younger than all of us combined. Like he was baby faced, fresh out of the womb kind of person. You know, I'm kind of over exaggerating. He was young. Okay, he was young. He did a fucking immaculate job with the special effects. I remember with like the fucking scene where old mate pushes the defibrillator through the dude's like stomach.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like there's like a row of teeth and you hear like a fucking as
Yeah,
if like the
yeah,
alien's gasping in and he just like closes his mouth like it's so good.
That's
yeah.
one of the things I really love about the movie is like I respect anyone who can do practical effects of this scale. Like nowadays it's all fucking CGI special effects, but for The Thing, like it was all basics. It was
Practical.
It was all practical, and like I respect that on a filmmaking level. That's something like that, it is just, it's something that you can't unsee. It's something that can't be done again in cinema, in my opinion. And I think John Carpenter's direction in that film was magnificent. Like, my favorite scene, hands down, in the film, when I saw it in theaters, the scene that made me the most tense in the cinema was the end, when everybody's tied up in the chairs, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then you find out slowly, like who's the, what is it, what is it, like
who's the thing? Who's
yeah,
infected?
who's the
Yeah.
thing. And just I love that scene because it throughout the film, it keeps you guessing, keeps you on edge at who exactly is doing this, because the film, I think, is very much a mystery at heart. I think the film is very much a suspense mystery. I think it, as much as it is a horror, I would call it more of a mystery suspense horror.
I reckon it's also more amazing where it's also set. It's like set in like a. Was it Antarctica? It's set or?
Yeah, like in the Antarctica.
Yeah, no, that's where the
Antarctica,
movie's set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a US base in Antarctica, where there's a Norwegian man who flies over trying to
Yeah.
shoot the dog,
Yeah.
who is like, mind you guys, spoilers.
Oh,
sorry.
which like the movie's been out for like a long time now. So yeah,
Oh, I'm
of
just
course,
thinking
spoilers,
for
spoilers.
like people who haven't seen this movie.
No, like I
before.
feel like they're clicking on this video, like with a review called The Thing. I feel like they're wanting to know kind of the thoughts on it. So I feel like the people who've already seen it, they're wanting to know our thoughts on it.
But at the
Um,
same time, just for people who haven't seen it, who want to know like what other people think of it, you
Right,
know,
right.
that's the way I see it. But
Right, okay, well, there's a scene, I'm sure you two will notice that I'm talking about, where the dogs are in the cage and one of them becomes the thing.
yeah, and there's
I
like fucking,
love that fucking scene so
that
much.
that dog was like the thing all along, and his
Yeah.
like mouth fucking just splits
Yeah,
open
yeah, I love
all
that.
the way. And-
It's so good. See,
Oh.
like that stuff that like, it's if the thing can do it, like it doesn't make sense why modern day horror can't do it. Like I feel like modern day horror, it's too CGI, it's too fake looking, it's too special effects based.
I feel like CGI nowadays has become the way it should be. Back then in the early 2000s and 2010s, you could tell it was CGI.
Yeah.
You could tell it was fake and everything.
Well, even before that.
Even before that, yeah, but there was like a film, fucking Jurassic Park and Starship Troopers. Those
Yeah.
two movies had heavy CGI on it,
Yeah.
but a massive shout out to Starship Troopers for
Yeah.
making the CGI look as
That was
as
actually pretty
realistic
good,
as
yeah.
it possibly could. Because, fuck me, if you watch Starship Troopers right now, it looks real. Like
Yeah.
still,
Yeah,
to
like
this
yeah,
day,
like
yeah.
like the first Storm. What is it? Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, yeah, I cannot speak. Starship Troopers. There we go. I think is a really excellent movie.
Yeah.
Like the second one, I think is great, but then after that, they start to go downhill, and I think they're still being made now. Like I know that there's like a ton of straight
Well,
to
one's
video
animated.
films.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there is one that is animated. Yeah,
They did the fifth one called Traitor of the Federation, which I haven't seen, but I don't really want to. The first one's good. The second one was, yeah, I mean, for a horror movie, it is what it is, kind of thing. But the third one, oh, that can fuck right off.
I'll
Oh,
just-
the third one's
I won't
shit.
watch it anymore. Like the first one's good enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think that's where I think the first two they should have left it at that. Like I think like the first one is great just on its own, but I think the second movie for what it is, for what it did, it was a fine, like kind of guilty pleasure to me. Have you guys seen the Thing prequel, the 2011
I haven't seen it. No.
prequel of it? No.
Vaguely.
What do you mean vaguely?
Like, I've seen it, but I don't really remember it. I remember it has, like, some really impressive effects, but it was, like, all CGI. And this was my argument with
So-
CGI. Like, early 2000s and 2010 CGI was just felt really off to me.
You know, so
Off to me.
what happened with the prequel is there's two different cuts of that film. So there's the one that we saw, which is the studio watered down cut of the film, and then there's the and then there's the practical cut of the film, which we never saw that. So the film was originally
Yeah,
all shot with practical effects.
And
'cause the director wanted to be as respectful to John Carpenter's film.
And I remember seeing like behind the scenes specials with the prequel to The Thing, where they had these full on like rib cages with like knives. I'm gonna be. You could correct me with this. I mean, I could be wrong with this. Sorry, but like there was like rib cages with knives and whatnot. Like it was so impressive with like these practical effects and whatnot that I just thought, damn it, that should be the movie right there.
Yeah. And so it's like the Thing prequel. I mean, it's a great prequel. It answers a lot of the questions that were kind of left unanswered in the original. So I like that. But then the CGI looks so bad. It looks so bad. It's I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it just had like so much
But-
to be desired, you know.
Yeah, like there was a lot of potential, and I don't get why the studio was like, oh, let's make a CGI version of the Thing. Like, that should never be a conversation. That it should be just instantly, let's do practical effects. Let's be as faithful to the original as possible.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the thing that really pissed me off about the prequels. I enjoy it as a prequel, but then like when you see like the Thing itself kind of show up, it looks so bad. Like compared to the rest of the scene, it like the suspense isn't there, the thrills isn't there, the horror isn't there because the CGI looks so incredibly shit to the film.
On a positive note, the sequel to the original The Thing is actually a video game from
Yeah.
the PS2 era. I have it on my PlayStation 2, which is called The Thing, mind you guys, and it had this. I remember we were playing it together.
Yeah.
It had like this whole trust system where like you have to trust your teammates and your teammates have to trust you throughout the game, but it had this underlying theme of paranoia. I can't speak properly. Sorry. Paranoia that you had to be careful with. And there was also, before The Thing from Another World, was a novel called Who Goes There, which I haven't read yet, and I do intend on reading, so I'm
But
going to give that a go.
what are your final grades on John Carpenter's The Thing?
10 out of 10, one of my favourite movies of all time.
James?
I'll give it a 10 out of 10. It's a good movie.
I would give it a 9 out of 10. I think there's a lot of like rewatchability, so I think it's one of the best suspense films of all time. I don't think you can get better than that. I think it's one of the best horror
It's
films.
just thoroughly well done. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, like I mean, yeah, like for its time, like I can't think of a single film during that era that had that was that big of a scale, that had such a responsibility of creating a like a thrilling experience for the audience. And so yeah, I think for me it would be a 9 out of 10. It's a movie I would go back and watch for sure, but I do think the movie's a little bit dated in some of its scenes. I do think dragged out a bit too long. But then yeah, still saying that, I still think it's a fantastic film. I think it's definitely a state of the art film. I think it's one of the best movies of all time. So yeah, we recommend it to you all. So check it out.
Adios, amigos!
Toodaloo, bye.